talk about the unfiltered stuff between the fans, the whole Manchester United ecosystem, away from the club. But I think Manchester United themselves are doing a fantastic job of being Haraami. I think they must be listening to the episodes and thinking, right, we need to get onto some of that stuff. So we're going to discuss, like I said, the world of Manchester United and the Haraminess with inside it. With me today, we've got Afsa, bro. How you doing?
All good, man. Like you said, yeah, looks like United have been doing on their own Harami cam. And I think it's time we deep dive into it, bro.
Yeah, man, definitely. Look, why is there never like a normal week at Manchester United? Even when it's international week, why is there just no like normal day?
You know what I'm going to say to you?
Go on.
Football, bloody hell.
The great Sir Alex Ferguson.
That's the one, man.
Yeah, look, I think there's so many places we can start. But what I'm going to start off from almost where we left off from the last episode, after the result between Arsenal and Manchester United, the 3-1 loss. A lot of people have lost their shit over it. But I think as we were literally wrapping up, Jadon Sancho comes out with a statement. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole statement. I don't think I need to, because I think everybody by now would have looked at it. I don't think
we should, bro.
Well, let's address his concerns. I think he was saying he's being made a scapegoat, and he's had enough of it, or something of that nature.
Yeah, something like that. And obviously, let's not forget, this was on the back of Erik ten Hag doing an interview to the press, in which he said something about Sancho's levels in training.
I don't think many people have actually listened to that. I think that, again, social media doing social media things, just jumping off the quotes that have gone either from these aggregators, these Manchester United accounts who try and portray all the, information that's gone on in the world of Manchester United. But it was such an innocuous question. He didn't even touch upon it. He was asked, where's Jadon Sancho? And he just says, obviously players levels. And he kind of just talked about it. I think it was literally 5-6 seconds, and then he just carried on with his next, conversation.
Can I just ask you a question on this?
Go on.
So it is okay for a manager to come out and say, "Oh, he's training really well. He scored a hat-trick. I'm so proud of him. We're so happy with him." But apparently, it's not okay for a manager to call a player out.
But look, he didn't even call him out. I think the terminology calling him out has the negative connotations where, he's gone searching for him. It's something that I think Jose used to do, but Jose used to do it tactfully as well. There's a reason why he done it. He tried to ignite,
it's about more motivation, isn't it?
Yeah, he tried to, ignite a response from the players. But Ten Hag wasn't even going to talk about it. You could see he was asked the question and he just simply answered it. And like you said, there's been, where was the outrage when back in November, or should I say before November last year, when he sent him away for 3 months and he talked about it then? Where was the outrage then? Do you know what I mean? Why didn't people say, "Oh, why is he talking about his business? Yeah, he might need, extra confidence training or whatever, but why is he talking about him?" Because he helped him, helped the team, helped him individually. He didn't help the team because that time, I remember, our results were getting by, our performance weren't that great. We needed bodies. But irrespective, Erik ten Hag let Jadon Sancho go away from the team for about 3 months. He didn't play, just to try and get his head back in the game. He obviously talked about that. And now what? Because a journalist asked him a question and he just answered it.
I think people are going to hate me. Come for me if you want. At this point, I really don't care. But look, Jadon he didn't help himself with that statement, because it was immediately after the Sky Sports interview, which tells you he was watching.
Mm-hmm.
He was definitely watching. He was definitely aware of what was said, and bam, it come out. So it came across very petty, very spoiled, let's be honest. And to me, it just encapsulated the modern day footballer, because they jump on social media, they tweet something and a storm brews, right? But at the same time, especially the likes of Jadon Sancho and stuff, I think they need to realise how much power they actually hold in terms of social media.
I think they know, and that is why they've done it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe they do know.
And you know, and you know what? It's not the first time he's done it. He's done it at Dortmund as well. You know, it's almost the same kind of words that he used. That he's being used as a scapegoat.
So he did a similar. Okay, I didn't know that. I knew he was questioned at Dortmund for his sort of levels in training and stuff.
Yeah,
and he released a statement.
Yeah, he came out. Don't get me wrong. I can't remember. It's exactly like the one he done on Sunday, or he came to the press and said it. But basically, he did that. So what we're saying is, there's even images of him now as well. I think you might have seen it when they're in the Man City youth team.
Yeah, him and Foden.
Where he's coming off, Foden's coming on. Normally, when you get subbed, you shake each other's hands or high five or whatever.
A high five or a nod or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and he barely even raised his hand to touch Foden, and even Foden looking behind him, thinking, "Yo, what the fuck?" Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And the next player who comes off, he proper shakes Foden's hands. You can see that's what it's meant to be, and he's there sitting sulking. And then you've got, like I said, the Dortmund statement. You've got obviously even Gareth Southgate's kind of commented on him as well. Yeah. His training and even for England. Now,
didn't that come out during the transfer saga to United as well?
I can't remember,
I think that's what was being said in the media, that it was a similar time to him either finalising his move or... Because obviously there was I think we chased him for about 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
So I think it sort of... Southgate said his performances or his levels effectively improved after the United deal was sort of done and dusted.
So you can see he's very emotional. He's very sulky about it. If he doesn't get things going his way, hold down tools. So there was England, and then obviously, like he says, he wasn't performing to his levels. Obviously, Erik ten Hag's backed him, sent him away, and now look, he's within his rights to talk about him if he needs to. Obviously, he's kept it out of the public eye. Somebody's actually asked him, and he's been honest. There's honest.
And the thing is, if we didn't answer that question, the press would have just written lies anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And look, it's not the first time. He's obviously also done it to. Well, when I say done it to, even with Marcus Rashford, against the Wolves game when he was on the bench. At that point, Marcus Rashford was on a great scoring run. A tough game, we go to Wolves, and Marcus Rashford's on the bench thinking, "Whoa, what's happened here? Like, do you know what I mean? Why is he on the bench?" And he clearly just said it, disciplinary issues, and bang, done, dusted. Do you know what I mean? But Marcus Rashford responded by scoring a goal, not sulking. Yeah. And then going on slightly on that as well, and then you've got. I personally don't believe it, Afsar. I know a lot of people do, but let's discuss it because I think a lot of people will not take my take on it there. But then you get in these rumours, these releases whereby players in the squad aren't happy with Erik ten Hag because he keeps playing his favourites, Anthony, and he's overlooking other players. I'm going to assume, which is Jadon Sancho as well. Yeah, your thoughts?
Firstly, I think it's bullshit. Secondly, look at the players that were named. The players that were allegedly named were Marcus Rashford, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, and I believe Harry Maguire was one named. So, first of all, Maguire ain't playing. So why would Maguire complain about someone else playing when he himself isn't actually playing?
I'm going to assume people are going to say, people like Lisandro Martinez of Varane playing instead of him.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Rashford is literally playing in one of Sancho's positions. So why would he complain? Because remember, Marcus doesn't want to play on the, down the middle or on the right. He wants to play on the left. And what's Casemiro? Casemiro's not a complete... The man's won 5 Champions Leagues. You think he's going to go bitching? He literally grabbed Højlund and was like... I mean, I don't even know what he said to him, but it was almost like he shook him up and was like, we've missed that kind of passion.
Yeah,
that we need that.
It's not good enough, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like, do it kind
Like
of thing.
Swarke, like grabbed him and just rattled him.
And you could just see the passion. So, and this is what I mean. It's always so easy to then say, oh, then now they're going after the manager. A lot of people are. I mean, and
Yeah. So we've seen
look,
Ten Hag out on Twitter one or
and
two
look,
times.
yeah, and look, I ask anybody that knows me, and I'm sure on even social media there'll be trails of it. I was a big supporter of Jadon Sancho. Look, I'm a big supporter of all our players. You know,
I was buzzing when we finally signed him.
Yeah, exactly. And I was saying to the guys, I was watch this guy. He's going to tear it up. He's going to be this, that, the other. Like, do you know what I mean? Even then, when he went away and for his sabbatical, I don't know what to call it. When he went to the mountains, I'm going to say, I thought, well, he's going to come back. And I think the half an hour or 20 minutes when on his return, he looked good, looked sharp. And I was like, yeah, this is it. This is going to come now. Like, do you know what I mean? So all I'm trying to say, I'm not backing. I'm not trying to favour the manager over him or vice versa. You know what I mean? I've always backed the player as well. But when you strip it back, the manager needs results, obviously. Yep. And I think I can't remember anybody saying that Jadon Sancho has performed so well that he should be now playing over Anthony. Now, and I think this is where people get things confused as well. Anthony was never going to be Cristiano Ronaldo on the right-hand side. He's not who else? He's not Bukayo Saka. He's not even a Garnacho on the other side. Do you know what I mean? You can see he's a guy who it fits Erik ten Hag's system in terms of controlling the game and hold the ball up, get the others in play. And again, we've always mentioned he hasn't got that player up front who's going to hold the ball up and play the 1-2s because that's what his game is about. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think we could see a little bit when Højlund come on, but obviously, I think he came off by that time as well. But I think people overlook. I don't always like to use stats, but if you look at it, when we play with Anthony, we do a lot better in terms of the control in the game than when we don't.
There's a lot more balance as well. If you notice, when Anthony plays on that right-hand side, it's a lot more sort of, if Wan-Bissaka does go forward or Dalot does venture forward, he doesn't necessarily, well, it's not that he goes back in a sense, but he's willing to track back, willing to cover that run.
And he has been doing that.
Time.
Exactly, do you know what I mean? And then the funny thing is, the people saying Jadon Sancho should be tried out, and I'm like, what? Do you know what I mean? Which game did you sit there and say, right, yeah, Jadon Sancho, bad boy performance on the right-hand side. That's it. He should be playing over Anthony. Oh, yeah, he tracks back. He does this.
Harps, can you name me 5 standout Jadon Sancho moments at Man United?
But I can't name you 3 or 3. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, the one standout thing was when he came back on his return after he went on to the mountains. Maybe half a game, or less than half a game, 2 moments.
The only thing that sticks in my head is Liverpool last season when we won.
Yeah, when he sat him down.
That's the only thing in recent memory that I can think that was Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And there you go. We're literally struggling to talk about what he's done. But like I said, now people are using that, obviously saying, he needs to be playing over Anthony and Erik ten Hag is favouring his players. Well, no shit, Sherlock. He's brought them in. There's a reason why
he spent 100 million on him, so he's kind of got to play him.
Well, not just that. Do you know what I mean? He's brought in whilst Jadon Sancho was at the club because the club wasn't performing, and he's played 2 games where Jadon Sancho was playing. At the start of his tenure, he was shit. So we brought in somebody like Anthony, and the results got better. Yes, the game against Liverpool he was playing in, but like I says, there is still games you can always say that Jadon Sancho deserved to start. Do you know what I mean? So I think you're never going to get it because I think a lot of fans are still upset with Erik ten Hag because of Cristiano Ronaldo. If I'm honest with you, because if you look at any of these people,
how was that? I mean, okay, I get it. He dropped him. He sort of arguably made him a rotation player or impact sub or whatever.
Who's that?
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Like Ten Hag made Ronaldo that sort of rotation impact sub, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
But listen, don't forget the interview Ronaldo did. As much as we all hate the Glazers, not only did he talk shit about the Glazers in that interview, he talked about the likes of Wayne Rooney. He talked about the young stars of today, saying that, some they don't want to follow his advice and they don't want to listen and stuff. And I think that was Ronaldo's arrogance on show there, like especially the way he sort of went after Rooney in that interview. And look, Piers Morgan. He's going to stir shit up. He's going to poke the bear, so to speak, right? But Ronaldo was no saint either.
Definitely not. Look, okay. We can say, you obviously mentioned Ralph Rangnick, like you said, Wayne Rooney, players and things like that. But then why not just go and just say, well, the owners have done a rubbish job of people who are here who shouldn't be here. They aren't to the standards. Why not go on that level? Why did he have to go attack individuals? Yes, they might not be good enough, but then if he was doing it in a caring way.
Did he say something about Neville in that interview? I can't remember because he had a bit of an altercation with Neville, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he kind of done that.
It might have been earlier than that, but
no. Remember, he had a problem with him on the pitch. He never shook his hand. I think one of the times as well. And then he might have attacked Neville. Look, he went out trying to attack everybody, just trying to get out of there. And
I think that's what it was. It was how do I get out of Man United? And
do you know what I mean? And I think. Do you know what I mean? And like I says, if you look back at the players or the people attacking Erik ten Hag, is generally the ones who were in favour, who wanted Cristiano Ronaldo to stay at Manchester United. The so-called Player FC. But like I says, I mean,
fucking hate Player FC.
I don't even know it was such a thing. I mean, how can a Player FC be a thing, man? I mean,
before we move on to that, just one quick thing I've just found. Do you want to know what the Premier League minutes are since Anthony signed for Man United?
His minutes.
Anthony Sancho comparison.
Yeah, go on.
So Sancho, since Anthony signed for Man United, has played 1,775 minutes. Anthony has played 2,129 minutes. Now, the difference in that, off the top of my head,
it's around 400, isn't it?
Yeah, call it 400, 90 minutes a game, roughly around 4 games difference. So how can you say that one was favoured over the other? Like, there's literally 4 games in it. It's not like he played 10 games and Anthony played 20 or 28. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And like I says, people just don't see the bigger picture of what's trying to happen in the team and things like that. And like I said, it's just, I think people just do it just for clout. I don't think they even believe what they're saying half the time. They surely can't. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, yeah, it's a
strange world, bro.
And like I said, this whole Player FC mentality, look, mate, a player generally has a lifespan of about 15, 20 years, like, do you know what I mean? And they move multiple clubs. What do you do after that then? Do you know what I mean?
Well, you've got the Ronaldo FC brigade that sort of jumped to every club Ronaldo goes to.
Yeah, but what are they going to do when he retires? Do you know what I mean? Are they going to go
start supporting his son?
another really player? Like, I just don't get it, man. Like I said, maybe I'm just too old. Brought up in a different era, different ways. But yeah, we are talking about Anthony. Bloody hell. Obviously, the shitstorm that's gone around him as well now.
Where do we start?
The allegations of him beating up his girlfriend, and how now that's been investigated in Brazil. Brazil, obviously, he was away with the Brazil team, but the Brazil team have dropped him now as well. Yeah. And Manchester United have also then come out with a statement today. I mean, what was that statement?
Well, conveniently, we haven't dropped him. It literally just said, there's an investigation going on. We'll let you know when we know more. And, we sympathise with all abuse victims. There's a giant elephant in the room. Yeah. And that elephant is Harriet Robson. / Mason Greenwood.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks a bit hypocritical the way they've written it. Do you know what I mean?
I think the only difference I can personally see is that with the Mason Greenwood at that time, he'd been charged.
He'd been charged.
He'd been charged, whereas at the moment in time, there's only investigations, so it's not like he's arrested or anything like that. I'm going to assume.
Yeah, but you can't put him. You can't start him against Brighton. Come on, he's gonna get eaten alive.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Well, it is at home.
You know what fans
I
are.
don't. I don't personally think so. I don't personally think so.
Do you not think Brighton fans would get on his back?
But what, 2,000-3,000 of them? I mean, bearing in mind, this had come out in the summer anyway, in June, July, hadn't it? And obviously it's going.
It got
replaying.
dismissed because I think she mentioned like something happened on a day he was playing against Bournemouth. And it's kind of like, well, he was playing against Bournemouth, so how's that happened?
I think
and the statement changed. I don't know.
Yeah, I think at the time we couldn't really work it out. Was it that day? Was there in England or I don't think anybody could really work it out. So I don't know how that happened. But now that there's obviously a lot. I think the police are talking about it. I think there's even a statement from her about Manchester United being involved as well.
Yeah, Manchester. Apparently, she's accused Manchester United club doctors of covering it up, which is honestly that will completely destroy the institution. Because that, if true, that is massive.
Well, where do we now take this? Do you know what I mean?
I think for the sake of it, we can't. Obviously, it's under investigation, possibly pending further legal charges or whatever. Legally, we can't say anything. We can only give our thoughts on it, which is what we've done. The one thing that sticks in my head is, so Maguire was charged for the Mykonos thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maguire stayed in the squad, stayed in the lineup. Mason's charged. Mason's gone. Mason's then attempted to be brought back, and then they get rid of. They don't cut ties with him. They keep him on the books, but they loan him out. Anthony's under investigation for, how do I word this?
I think it was
something in a similar realm of what Mason was accused of. I don't mean to offend anyone by saying that, but I can't think of any way of like referring to it in a sense, right? So why is there no? First of all, why wasn't Maguire like pulled out of the squad? Second of all, why is Anthony not? Do you know what I mean? Like you said, Harps, it could be because he's not been formally charged, but there needs to be some consistency here, man. Surely, this is poor from the club.
Basically, this club has no spine. The people running the club, there's no one grabbing the club from the top, right from the balls and saying, right, I'm in control. This is how.
I don't think anyone at board level's got a set.
I don't think any of them got them. None of them got any to do it. Like, do you know what I mean?
The only one that's got a set's Darcy Glazer.
Sure. Do you know what I mean? And I think, and we've kind of, like I said, in terms of the Anthony thing, I think, like you said, let's not talk about it too much because we don't know too much at the moment. But I think what we need to talk about, I think is a good discussion, is in terms of why does it keep on happening to Manchester United? Why is all these things keep happening to the club? Whether it's
had this discussion at work today.
Gone.
And bear in mind, I work with City fans. I work with fans of all clubs, right? City, Chelsea, United, and some Oldham fans as well, whatever. And one of the City fans said to me, he said, shouldn't this attitude problem of Sancho and this, I mean, you could call the Mason thing an attitude, Mason and Anti could easily be attitude as well. Shouldn't that have been identified within the scouting? Because not only the way this made me realize rather is you don't just scout the footballing ability, you scout the individual. Have they got the right mindset? Have they got the right people around them to keep them on the straight line, as you were?
I mean, in terms of Mason Greenwood, he's been there since he was about 8, I think, 6 or 8. I can't remember exactly. So they,
Yeah,
they would have seen him growing up, and people talk about he was like this, he was like that. Do you know what I mean? So I think they would have had a kind of an inkling. But again, like he says, it takes two to tango. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, we could see on the other side as well his girlfriend. Obviously has put it out and then he's denied it. Was it accidental? But again, the club have said he wasn't.
Can I just say one thing on that?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk about Mason. I'm not going to talk about Harriet. I'm going to talk about their child. They had a daughter, right? They had a baby girl.
I can't remember.
I think it was a daughter. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was a daughter. So they had a baby girl, right? Now, people that are shoveling hate and abuse at that couple, whether it's aimed at Greenwood, whether it's aimed at Harriet, whatever it is, indirectly you're affecting that child. Let it go. Whether you're happy with the outcome or not, let it go. Let them live their lives, and in turn, you live your own life. Because the last thing you want to do is ruin a child's life. Because that child's going to grow up, they're going to see all this one day on social media, and they might be traumatized. They might be strong enough to deal with it. We don't know. But let's not contribute into ruining someone's life, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, like I says, it's the case of you hearing more things about Mason Greenwood and things like that, rather than in terms of what's happening with Anthony. And look, we even have to go back even further than that when even Johnny Evans was accused of something similar when he was here as well. And he's come back
first time round when he was here.
First time round, yeah. And I've not heard anybody talking about that. And bearing in mind, like I says, Mason Greenwood was found not guilty and things like that. But like you said, you don't want to talk about it too much. But in terms of the club itself, do you know what I mean? People keep talking about, this player needs to go out. These guys are toxic. They shouldn't be here. It's like, mate, you were saying all these things when Paul Pogba and Jesse Lingard was here. They were toxic and they need to leave.
Yeah.
Now they left.
Pogba was apparently a cancer.
Well, exactly. So, okay, he's now gone. So
Jesse's gone. Dean Henderson's gone.
And it's still happening now?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This player power, you
can never... before them, it was other players.
Exactly. That's what I mean. You can't sit here and say who's in charge of that club on Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, all these things that are happening, yes, on an individual basis, it's an individual thing. Obviously, Jadon Sancho, yes, it's on him. Why did you put that statement out? Obviously, things that got on with Anthony, things that gone on, what Harry Maguire said, why hasn't he left? The bid had been accepted. Why hasn't he? Yes, you can, on an individual basis, you can look at them on a case by case, but there is enough time and data and things to now say that what's going on at Manchester United is because of the ownership, because the way the owners have let things go, slide and manifest itself.
I'm going to compare this to Roman Abramovich. Now, yes, he hired managers for fun, fired them for fun. He spent a crap ton of money on players. He sometimes bought in his own players that managers didn't even want. But guess what? He won trophies. If a manager wasn't good enough, they were gone. The second players acted up, they were gone. Look at Hazard, for example. Right? He was gone to Madrid. What's he done since he went to Madrid? Fuck all. Right?
But what
look at the Glazers. They've let the club go from we were the best of the best. Now, Gary Neville said it best. We're negotiating like we're a mid-table team. That's the levels they've dropped us to.
For loans? Not for even purchases, for loans?
Yeah, for loans. And when people say, no, just to relate this to your Player FC thing, when people say this, that are, but such and such a player playing badly or whatever isn't the Glazers' fault. Who the fuck do you think signed off on giving that player that extortionate contract? The Glazer family. no penny moves in Manchester United without the Glazer family signatures. They signed off on that contract. So
You know what?
they basically gave a guy a cushy life, and he thought, Jello, I've made it now. I'm going to put my feet up.
I can do what I want almost. Look, I think that's the thing. I think people fail to understand. Oh, was it the Glazers who made Sancho do that? No. But who recruited Sancho? Okay, who was the scouting network but who let them come to the club?
Who authorised 73 million?
Not just that though, but who put those people in position?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Exactly. So when you filter it down, so even if it wasn't the Glazers direct themselves, there's somebody who's in charge who's got those people there. And like I said, it's not like a 1 season, it's not a 2 season, it's not even 3 season. Man, it's been 11 years post Fergie. And like I said, even the years earlier to that, they were lucky. And I think I've not met anybody to debate it any otherwise. From 2005 to 2013 when Fergie was here, it was because of Fergie. It wasn't because of the Glazers. People.
What was that famous thing he used to say? No value in the market.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of the Glazers.
Because of the Glazers. It was because the brilliance, and I think that period between 2005 and 2013 when he left was probably his best period. In terms of trophies, maybe not, obviously. But
management-wise.
Just but how to navigate a club that is on such tight British purse strings when you had the likes of Chelsea who were nilly-willy spending money. You had Manchester City who were doing the same thing as well. You're having all these different clubs who are doing that kind of thing. But he navigated that. But like as soon as he left, we've now got 11 years worth of data evidence to show you that it has to fall onto the Glazers. So when I'm going into, listening to spaces, into group chats or whatever, and I keep seeing people saying, Jadon Sancho shouldn't be there. Oh, he's an idiot. Or, Eric Ten Hag, what's he doing? He doesn't even know what he's doing. He's not an elite manager. Oh, we need another manager. Oh, we need another player from here. I'm like, guys, have you not seen the past 11 years of what it is? We've had 6 managers. We've had umpteen players. I asked the question before as well. Name me an individual in these past 11 years. I'm talking about every level, whether that's board level, whether that's players, whether that's coaching, whatever, who have left the club with their reputation intact. No, obviously, on top of my head, I could think of maybe, Kieran McKenna got a job at Ipswich. He's enhanced his, reputation.
Got a job.
Carrick got a job after he, after he's left for a bit. But, look at all the abuse they were getting whilst they were here.
Yeah, they were Ollie sympathisers and all that other crap.
They haven't got a clue and this, that, they don't know what they're doing. And then they go out, especially Kieran McKenna, do you know what I mean, doing a great job. Obviously, Michael's doing a great job as well. But it's amazing how these people, when they leave the club, Manchester United, they kind of start flourishing, they start doing well. Ashley Young went to Italy and won a league.
Yeah, and then obviously now Everton. But let's do a little exercise, right? I'm going to give you a player. This is all post-Fergie. You tell me whether or not they should have been at Manchester United. Regardless of what we needed at the time, you just give me what you're like, based on your lasting memory of that player at Man United, should they have been there, yes or no?
We're not going to go through all of them, are we?
No, I'm going to cherry pick a few. Let's go with the obvious one, Marouane Fellaini.
Obviously not, no.
Okay. Radamel Falcao.
Unfortunately not, no. I was so pretty excited when he came, but no.
Marcus Rojo.
The burnt toast, that's what always I think of him when I think of Marcus Rojo. Yep.
Bastian Schweinsteiger.
Oh, I love Bastian Schweinsteiger, man. But his reputation before he came to Manchester United, and that's first and only player's name I've had at the back of my t-shirt. But yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't a success.
Alexis Sanchez.
Again, the piano and the 2 dogs. That's all again I can think of.
Yeah. Odion Ighalo.
Did he only score the 1 goal for us? I think he might have scored more. I don't know.
I think he scored 2 or 3. I don't think it was
But
one.
like I said, that it's crazy. I can only think of the one goal I think he scored, which was his first game before lockdown. I think when we was away in Europe. But yeah, obviously.
Nemanja Matic.
He was decent.
In a Jose system.
He was decent, but again, even his time had faded by the end, didn't he? By the time he left.
So, what do all them players have in common? Who signed them?
Well, they're under the steward of Graders, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly right. So, the problem, yes, we may not like certain players, but it's the Glazers. And just to point out, we are not criticizing people. We're not saying that people aren't Glazers out. We're not saying any of that. All we're saying is, it's not like, yes, we get it. The Glazers don't control the 90 minutes on the pitch. But the 90 minutes on the pitch is irrelevant to the wider world of Manchester United.
Well, yeah, I mean, it comes, that 90 minutes comes back of all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes and what's gone on before that.
But
so
also as like a sort of a time frame, it's its isolated own little thing, right?
Yeah,
obviously it's linked to a week's worth of training and press and all that nonsense.
But it's the culture, it's the atmosphere, like you said. Yeah. I get it. One game, 2 games, 1 season, 2 seasons maybe. But like it says, post Fergie, it's been 11 years. So
and it's been the same cycle as well. Players do well, mood's good, form shifts.
First season, yeah.
Players down tools.
And then it's the manager's fault.
Manager gets sacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the player's down tools, it's the player's fault.
No, it's not the player's fault. It's the manager's fault. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because
it's a mixture of both, isn't it?
And it's a toxic atmosphere in there because the manager is picking his favourites.
Yeah, and then new manager comes in, new manager bounds, everyone's happy for a bit, signs a few players, and oh look, he's got his favourites, blah blah blah, rinse repeat.
And if I bring it to what we have now, I mean, Erik ten Hag, some people are asking, is he elite? No. When I'm going to see people are saying elite because they're going to compare it to Pep, Klopp, people of that nature. And I think, obviously, them boys have done it in the Premier League. So, obviously, Ten Hag has only been here 1 year. This is his second season. So, we've not given him enough time for one. You can't say that. But, yeah, is he in the elite bracket? Okay, let's say he's not. But potentially, yes, because we've seen what he's done with the squad that was there last season. What he achieved. Again, you could see what he was trying to do. You could see the patterns of play. You could see what he needed. Compared to any of the managers that we've ever had before, we was, happy and excited with the football that we were potentially looking to do. And we was all saying, we all kind of knew what players we needed as well. Do you know what I mean? The profile of play, we could pick them out because of what
we knew. The Glazers didn't.
Well, I mean, you look at the game on Sunday against Arsenal, there's only Onana as a new player who played.
Yeah. Yes,
you could say the likes of Mount was injured. Okay. But
came on. Had a half an hour.
Yeah, Rasmus came on as well. But again, it was like, why aren't these? I mean, Amrabat wasn't even there. But we'd identified him back in June, July, obviously before that as well. That guy could have made a massive difference. But the other thing is as well, who the two players? Okay, Licha goes off. What's his name goes off as well? Victor Lindelof goes off as well. Who the hell did they bring on? Maguire, a player that they didn't even want, and didn't even want, so they accepted a bid for him. And Johnny Evans, who they didn't announce until literally the last minute before the window closed, because obviously they were trying to add players in the centre-back position. I think...
don't forget all the names we were linked with. Kim Min-jae, Benjamin Pavard, Jean-Claire Todibo, to name a few.
Exactly. So you could see, so Erik ten Hag hasn't even got the players on the pitch that he wanted. Obviously, it's the same as what was last year. And we even said last year we needed new players to add to the team. But even with that, we controlled the game at Arsenal. They didn't have us under cosh. There was no point other than after the Garnacho goal, which again wrongly was offside. But I'm not going to blame it on that. But you could see
let's not get into that.
There's not exactly. We could see what we were doing. We controlled the game. They weren't pressing. I've even seen now people saying, "Oh, I don't think it's a good thing having Onana because they're not pressing us. Teams aren't pressing us because we can't break teams down." I'm like, what?
But he's the reason they're not pressing, because they're so wary of him. They know what he can do.
Yeah, but because teams aren't pressing us, we can't now counterattack them because we can't break teams down. Apparently, do you know what I mean?
We counterattacked in that game a couple of times. I mean, I know, we weren't great on the counter, but I will be honest. You all heard my initial thoughts, but my one takeaway from that game was we gave this game a lot more than I thought we could.
Again, other than the result, I was happy. Do you know what I mean?
I thought the performance was bang on.
And the frustrating thing is, like we just mentioned, you're bringing on Evans and Maguire, who were a partnership at Leicester. They were.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
There's even pictures that have come out there that they played together for Leicester.
I was just trying to think whether they're together when they got relegated, but
I can't remember.
Got relegated, so
yeah, but
it would have been then.
Do you know what I mean? And then people are trying to say that Eric Ten Hag's a problem. Do you know what I mean? We're one of the richest clubs in the world. Well, we the income that we earn. Do you know what I mean? And the money that, and we're having to. Oh, do you know what I mean? And then people will still talk about.
And it's not like we got, no disrespect to Johnny Evans, it's not like we got an amazing free agent. Do you know what I mean? We got Johnny Evans, who, let's be honest, has ties to the club, has a very good history and relationship with a lot of people at the club.
His wife works for MUTV.
Yep, she does. We invited her on the podcast.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, people, can you not see? Ultimately, yes, like again, Marcus Rashford, Harry Maguire, all these people might have an attitude and they're not good enough to be at Man United. I get that, like, do you know what I mean? And we can talk about Sancho not being good enough or Anthony not being good. But look, man, compare it to even Pep Guardiola. People are going to compare. Let's compare. Pep was signing players. They didn't work out. They went.
Claudio Bravo.
Spent
50 million on him. Got rid of him. Got Edison.
Next year, there's a couple of wingers as well. Do you know what I mean? Early in the range as well. That's what I mean. And it's just like,
look at the amount of centre backs he signed. Every 2 years, he gets a brand new centre back. Because he likes to keep it fresh. But look at how much money Pep Guardiola has spent on the Manchester City defence.
Yeah,
include the goalkeepers, and you will see it is more money than some countries spend on their militaries. Genuinely.
Unfortunately, I haven't got the stats, so exactly, but I can imagine so. But do you know what I'm trying to say? So when you're going to compare, do you know what I mean? Compare it that way. So again, it comes back to the Glazers. Do you know what I mean? And I'm all Glazers out. Do you know what I mean? I'm forever saying Glazers out because, like I said, I think fundamentally when that happens, we will see a change, happen there as well. But I think enough of me talking about the Glazers there as well. Go on, your thoughts.
I was just going to say, speaking of Glazers out, there's a little something we dropped earlier today.
Yep, hopefully everybody saw that. The Brown Munde 58 Glazers out digital art.
Yeah, there's plenty more coming.
Yeah, good digital arts that are coming. Keep an look out for that. I won't talk about it too much. I think we will talk more about it in the up and coming shows. I know a few people have got in touch with us to ask where they're going from.
I did speak to Akil earlier today, and I'm not going to give a date. I'm not going to spoil it, but the website is coming soon.
Wicked. And again, thank you for all your positive feedback, on that as well. Really appreciate it. Like I says, it's something that we've got bigger things that we want to do with not just the podcast, but as the Brown Munde itself. I don't want to talk too much because obviously a lot of these are working on in the background. But as you can imagine, we don't want to say too much because sometimes things happen that either delay us or, things will happen. But yeah, please keep on supporting us the way the way you are as well. We are going to wrap it up here, but we've also, in terms of guests as well, it's been a while since we've had a Brown Munde podcast. We'll line up some exciting guests from the part of the world I think we're all looking forward to hearing from, the thoughts of, and again, we've always said these podcasts were set up to try and get the voice of probably the minority in terms of who we don't hear of, but what we suspect is the majority of fans who support Manchester United. Again, I'm not got those stats and figures, but I think when we talk about regions,
on the sheer size of those sort of countries in the population,
regions and populations,
I mean?
exactly. I think we can make a fair assumption of that. But look, like I said, we're really excited for that podcast. I think